Night show. This is the Daytripper Photo Show. It's supposed to be a photo review show for the photo challenge Motherhood. Not your mama, but I don't know. I still don't know how that happened. It was very funny to me. Um, so there were no photos submitted for this photo challenge. Now that could be for a lot of reasons. It could be because people are busy. It happens. It could be because the photo challenge wasn't conveyed the correct way. It could be because people don't like mothers. Who knows? Column A, column B. But you never know. Bottom line is, it's opened us up to have a show which is kind of a free discussion show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a few topics we're going to talk about. We've had some pretty good conversation already before we started the show hangout. But before we get to any of that, let's say hello to our co-hosts tonight. Tonight, right beside me, is Phil Zerato. Good day, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you feeling this week?
I'm better. Lindsay,
Good.
not so much. Me, better. I don't know. I think it left me, disappeared for like a couple days, and then came back like this morning. But, you know, these things go around.
Yeah, Shelly just had a major hit with something, and she's been uncomfortable for a week and a bit, so she's starting to get better. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting sick. And speaking of people getting sick, Gabriel?
Really? No, for the first time, I'm fine. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Good. I'm glad you're fine. Welcome to the show. How have you been this week?
Good. It's been a busy week.
It's been a crazy week.
It's been a crazy week. Yeah.
Like my will in humanity has been shattered this week. And what will I what I had left.
Which
You
for
know?
those of you that don't know, he would, if you were like, you're driving down a road and there's like a baby, a human person on one lane and a zombie in the other, and you have to kill one. It's like he wouldn't even get you like kill the human.
The other white meat. Yeah. I'm not impressed with humanity, and this week has definitely shown its colors.
I'm not impressed with humanity, and I'm not impressed with humanity's reaction to humanity.
Agreed.
I think a lot of people don't know how to react. Anyway, we're going to talk about more about this on tonight's show. There's been some major world global changes with what happened in France, and of course, little known talked about Kenya and so many other places in the world. In Japan, there was tsunami or another earthquake, and like big problems. Lots of people killed, unfortunately, and even more people scared. And I think that's where the problems are coming from. We're going to get more into it. First, though, I just want to say there's been so many cool things that have happened, too. You know, it's not just bad stuff. There's been some really good stuff. I don't have anything in the notes that represents it, but I'm sure there has been.
Well, okay, no, but I mean, you know, part of my comments is that there's been a lot of cool things that have happened, but, you know, people fear change and just try to poop all over everything. So, you know, I tend to be a little bit more of an optimist. And I welcome change and new things and new designs. Hint, hint. What we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
And some people just don't seem to like it. So.
Well, Phil, you made a comment. You know, well, I don't know if you made it, but it's in the notes. Just think, right?
Yeah,
I think people are Gabe might have written that. Gabe, that sounds like a Gabe thing. Just think. But it's true, right?
It wasn't me.
Maybe I wrote it. I don't know.
Who's writing our notes?
I think somebody's hacked our notes and they're writing stuff. But anyway, no, just think about stuff. There's so often that you get frustrated and the world reacts so inappropriately. And I think what people forget to do is just think about what's actually happening. You know, we're human. We have instincts that we just react, but we can also think and process and act correctly. But yeah, weird stuff.
Just ignore the knee-jerk reaction and, you know, think for a second before you react. Don't be a 5-year-old with no impulse reactions. Don't be like, oh my God, something's changing. Oh, they're gonna ruin it. Everything's terrible. You know, it's like, think about it. And can I hop over to the change topic?
Yeah, actually, before we do that, let's just quickly touch on the Q&A here. Jen Newberry's watching this week. Thank you so much, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
She's asking, where's Dixie, where's Winnie, our little pets. Dixie makes her appearance when she wants to. She's a cat. She just, you can't tell a cat what to do. So if she shows up...
The cat's dead, so he won't be on the show.
You just went there. You really just...
On the upside, Winnie's snuggling with Lindsay to keep her feeling good. Okay, I was concerned. Oh, dear.
There's my old cat, Gina.
What's that? What's that, a brick?
It's the urn.
Oh my good God. Okay, so that touches on the next comment here. Jen says, for some reason, Brian's webcam seems super sharp and Phil's is normal, and Gabe's is really pixelated. Is that just me? No, it's not just you. I thought that was a brick you were holding up.
No, he's I don't know what's wrong with your internet. It's not.
I'm getting good speed, but I don't know.
It's either that or the video camera maybe isn't that great or something.
Maybe.
Now, Jen, you're seeing. What's that?
I have the same video cam you have.
Yeah, you do too, and you also have faster internet than I do.
Weird.
Which is strange. Anyway, we'll figure that out. But Jen, you are correct. It is what's happening. Christine, you're watching this week. That's awesome.
Hey,
she says she hasn't been able to watch for a while due to work schedule. She's so happy she can tune in tonight. Hopefully we won't disappoint you and make you jump off a building. That would suck. Bonnie's watching. She says, sharing something positive. Yesterday she booked a bucket list photography project happening next month. She's so stoked. That is awesome. See, that is what it's all about. A bucket list photo opportunity. And Bonnie, if you get an opportunity, please let us know what it is, because that's super cool. Are you going to Jamaica on a destination wedding? Are you shooting the Toronto Zombie Walk because it came back or something? Like,
Did it come back?
No, it didn't. That would be a bucket list, right?
That'd be good. Yeah. Okay.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. If you want some good news, I think Guinea. Is that how to pronounce it? Guyana? I don't know. One of the African countries that was dealing with Ebola has now started a countdown to be Ebola-free. And I think it's the last one to be Ebola-free. So they have a 48-hour countdown to see if the last patient is clear. And
excellent.
It's looking good.
That is good news. That is very good news.
A while ago, and it's still happening.
It's on a funny note on that point. I have a game called Plague on my phone. And it's a great game, right? So I was in the middle of a
game, yeah.
Thank you. I was in the middle of the game, and I was like totally destroying the world, and all of a sudden I heard about the Ebola virus, and I'm like, is this thing real? Like, am I creating Ebola from my cell phone? But no, luckily I didn't, and everything is fine. Technology, right? It's like black magic. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff.
You're playing a video game here, you're actually flying a drone over there.
Hey, you've seen the movie War Games. It's happened.
There you go.
I was going to say, isn't that like a Twilight Zone episode or something?
War Games, Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
He's a computer hacker, and he hacked his Atari Radio Shack VIC-20 or something. And
He's
took over the...
Also, isn't that the story of Ender's Game?
Sure.
Oh, that was
like the
such
book.
a good movie.
No.
Bonnie says her bucket list photo shoot is local, but she'll share her details when she can. So she's just teasing us right now. But congratulations, Bonnie.
We can see some cool pictures soon.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start getting into the show a little bit here, guys. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, I do want to thank our sponsor. LensPen is fantastic. They've given us so many great things over the years, and we've been able to give out prizes for a very long time, all kinds of great stuff. I still use LensPens day in and day out. Can't be without them. And I just really appreciate the support that they've given us and continue to give us. Also, next year, guys, there's going to be some freaking crazy stuff coming from Daytripper Photo. We've locked down a few big things that I can announce on the show tonight, which I might as well get to right now. First of all, we do have 3 sessions coming up, January 10th, January 9th, January 24th. And they're all completely different. They're super cool.
10th,
first one,
9th, and 24th?
Yeah, January 9th is the hockey session. So hockey photography, this is the 3rd one that we've done. The first 2 are spectacular. And there's folks who came on the hockey sessions that it changed their way of shooting completely. Maureen McDermott, Robert Schindelheim, who's one of our guys. I mean, there's so many people who are still active in our community who took these hockey sessions in the past, and it really, really helps you in so many ways. This is part of our low light action series. We've done wrestling sessions, we've done all kinds of things, and this hockey session started it all. So on January 9th, hockey session, and later on that day is something from our Daytripper Darkroom series, which we're announcing soon, but I'll get to that in a second. Light painting on January 10th. Indoor light painting. This is the one where we rent the hall, we turn off all the lights, we have all of our flashlights and all that really cool stuff. We do light painting, and it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. That's on January 10th. And on January 24th, the world-renowned session that Gabriel and I invented called Fire on Ice is back in town. And out on a frozen lake in the middle of winter, we're burning some steel wool and getting some really awesome photos, teaching people how to do this. And I've always said this, the best part about these sessions is that they're in the middle of the freezing cold, and your adrenaline is just jacked because you're so into it. And they say that when your adrenaline is really flowing, you can remember everything. So this is the only session of the year where you'll leave remembering everything.
Nice.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I like it. It sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good, right? So the the Daytripper Darkroom series, now this is something that we've just locked down. I think every Sunday pretty much in December and January, we're going to rent the Newmarket Community Center, and we're going to have one of our instructors edit live and then give a full workflow edit as to how they made the image, and then answer Q&A for a couple hours afterwards. So the photo, for example, Don Komarechka has already agreed to do this. He will show his image. This is the image that he'll be making during the edit. You have the first hour, which is all Don doing his edit, and then after that, there's 2 hours of Q&A and doing more photo edits and just walking you through step by step exactly how to do it. You have your computer with you. You have your instructor at the front. So far, Don Komarechka has locked in to do this. Navi Noom has done this.
Oh, nice.
Blake Zimmerman is doing one. Gabriel is doing one. I'm doing one. And there is always talk about more. So there's going to be lots of really cool, and these are inexpensive sessions. These are $75 each. They're not really expensive. It's not like a Kelby class where you got to pay $100 or more to go to. It's just a very, very fun, interactive edit session.
Awesome.
Which is really, it's not like a workflow or a advanced develop tool or things like that. It's literally, here's the image that I make. Here's how I do it, step by step. You have any questions? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that. Here, we can do that with this photo, right? So
that's cool.
Very cool. Daytripper Darkroom series. And the last little bit of announcement that I have for everybody is the Daytripper Photo Masterclass series. Now, this is taking it to the next level. This is not the standard $100, $175, even $350 session from Daytripper. This is an elite session done by masters in photography. Navi Noom has agreed to do one as well. You and Navi Gabriel are doing the wedding session, which is kind of a redo of last year's wedding session, which was absolutely a hit, even though it was the coldest day of the year, and I locked the keys in the van.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear.
And I was like, glad I drove myself. See ya.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyway, and Don, of course, is doing his masterclass session on June 12th. So there's a lot of really cool things that we're going to be putting up on the website shortly. Keep your eyes open for that. And for those of you who don't want to pay money, who want to come to a fun class, Ross Chevalier, the photo video guy, is doing something at Henry's this Saturday called the Henry's Print Session. So if you want to learn how to make prints, if you want to get hands-on explanation of how to do the proper print process, from how to export to how to finish your photo to how to do the print and what papers to choose, that's this Saturday. It's free. If you check out henrys.com, you can find out more about it. And it's going to be from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in Newmarket. So very cool thing. Lots of stuff. Lots of free stuff, lots of advanced paid stuff, and right through the whole holiday season, you can buy your Daytripper Photo gift card, your Henry's gift card, your Daytripper Photo gift cards at www.daytripperphoto.com. Okay, cool. That's
awesome.
it. Let's talk about some stuff. So,
okay.
Here's the thing. There's been changes. We've talked about changes. One
Yes.
of these changes, which we will talk about first, is the changes that are being made to Google+, because they're pretty substantial.
Yes.
And yet, they're not. Right, Gabe?
Yeah. I just got, well, first of all, the thing that frustrates me is when I hear or see people ranting and raging about changes that are upcoming, that are announced, that they haven't actually seen yet and haven't actually used yet. Some people are just adverse to change, full stop, right? So, I hear people complaining about the new Ghostbusters movie. Like, nobody's seen it yet. Don't
but it's like, new and scary.
I know. It's like, oh, they're destroying my childhood memories. The original Ghostbusters movie still exists.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. A while back, sorry to cut you off here, but a while back I had an opportunity to get a message to Geddy Lee from Rush. Yeah, you guys know I'm a huge Rush fan, right?
Yeah.
So here I am. I know this dentist who's going to go hang out with Rush, and I asked him to send a message. How come you guys can't make music like you used to?
Uh-oh.
You know the answer I got? It's still for sale. Buy the old stuff. If you like it, there it is. We've got new stuff now.
Which is actually a really good response.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
is.
So.
It's
just because they're trying something different doesn't mean that you have to be stuck into it.
You got it.
Just because the new Guns N' Roses album sucks doesn't erase the existence of the old Guns N' Roses stuff.
Now, but that's different than Google Plus, because when Google Plus changes over, you're not going to get to use the old stuff.
Right. Well, no, there is. If you're looking at the new interface, there is a Back to Classic G Plus button down in the bottom left. You can go back and you can be back there for a certain amount of time, and then eventually you'll have to come over to the new interface. Now, the new interface is missing some features. They stripped down the functionality while they did the rollout of the new design. So if there are some features that you use a fair amount, then maybe stick with the old version. But my main thing is, it seems like, you can't change an emoticon without the internet losing its collective shit.
Speaking of emoticons,
Squirrel.
just because it fits in, did you guys notice that I think it's Webster's, their word of the year is this like teary face emoticon?
Oh no, really?
It's how is this a possibility?
Well, and I've been listening to some college instructors and stuff like that. They say that kids are handing in tests where R is just spelt the letter R, and they're not marking it wrong. Now, the knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, that's not English, and that's not right, and people should learn how to spell properly. I'm teaching a 7-year-old English right now. He's in grade 2. English is a terrible, terrible, terrible language and needs to be changed.
But why make it worse?
How should R be spelled? It should be spelled R.
Well, no.
Why not?
It's spelled that way because that's how it's always been done, and we can't change it.
Okay, well, you take some dessert and yeah, okay, all right. I noticed half sentence. I'm like, hold it, he's doing the fear of change.
But shortening things is, I think, just allowing people to be lazy. And if everything was changing at the same time, so if everyone tomorrow was going to spell R with just the letter R, that'd be fine. But it's a fact that it's not getting marked wrong, and then these kids are going to go off to university, go off to college, write a resume, and put R's and U's.
Yeah, but some changes gradual.
But they're still going to get laughed out of places. Like, if I was hiring someone and I got a resume, and it could be a greatly worded resume,
right?
But if it referred to themselves as U and R and like use short form things,
it's almost as bad as
ignore
them. Use.
Yeah, but we're old.
Wow.
Words were derived, and one of the favorite things I like to do when I'm learning something is I look up the history of a word, like photography, right?
Right.
You can't short form photography and have it be the same thing. Photography, photo means light, graphy means paintbrush. Photography, it means something. There's a history of that word. If you look at the word hour, O-U-R, or R-A-R-E, there's a reason it is that. It wasn't just
right. But there's a
phonetic
lot of
spelling.
words.
How to say it. Now, I do agree with Jennifer Newberry here about donuts. The original donut would have been like a donut, like a nut of dough. And then it was shortened down to donut because why do we need to have an O-U-G-H
There
to
you
make
go.
the D-O sound?
Mhm.
But then if someone who only knew how to read things as O-U-G-H would look at that and say do nut. So
There you go.
Right.
I agree. Okay, well, speaking of the Q&A,
I don't know.
there's been lots of comments here. Just touching back to what I was talking about, the Fire and Ice, Jennifer Newberry says she's never been so cold in her entire life than at Fire and Ice sessions. That could possibly be because you wore sneakers. Just saying. You know, sneakers, Fire and Ice, it's kind of cold outside.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. And Jen, I will be talking about your future 35mm Sigma lens toward the end of the show. It is important, and I will be talking about it. And yes, spelling is important. People who can't spell, it's assumed they're not intelligent. If I have a customer walk in the store looking for a job, like Phil's saying, and his resume's got bad wordage, I mean, I don't do it. No, not me. But I've seen people take that resume and make notes like this guy doesn't know English and things like that. And then they show up to give their resume with their pants down around their butt, their head backwards. I mean, come on. Like, pardon me, show some professionalism if you want a professional job. It's about respect. That's my rant. Okay. And Squirrel, yes, she hears the new 007 movie. It's good, Squirrel.
I haven't gotten to see that yet. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, here it's pretty good.
It seems cool.
Okay, so people of the internet. So, recently it's been, Adobe changed this, and Google changed that, and Facebook changed this, and it's just a big old complaint fest, all right? So this is what...
Yeah, it was minus 25, Jennifer. You are right about that. It was fairly cold.
This is what no change looks like. Do you want this? Do you want this again? Do you want animated GIFs?
Yes.
Do you want? Is that?
no, let's not start that again.
Right, GIF. No, you're right. GIF.
One's peanut butter, the other's an animated picture.
Is this what you want? Would this make you happy? So
yes.
the whole
back in my day.
The whole thing, back in my day, Trish and I would drive down the road and think of things to Google when we got home, and we had to write them down on a pad and paper, and then come home to our desktop computer instead of just going, "Okay, Google, look, my phone woke up. It's ready for me to ask to stop." No, don't record that.
How come mine doesn't do that? Okay, Google. My phone laughs at me when I do that.
The advantage of having to write things down is there's no one trying to use a desktop computer and drive down the highway.
No, but it's all
Voice activated.
Yeah, it's all voice activated.
Oh, you hope.
Not mine. I have to turn mine on before I can do that. So I'd have to crash the car first before I can say something.
So all I'm saying is, people give change a chance. Sometimes some people. I like the new import screen on Lightroom. It worked perfectly fine for me. Some people lost their freaking minds, and you know what? Adobe listened, and yesterday it went back to the way that it was before. Thank you very much for bringing back that old interface. I like the new one. But anyways, they should have given you an option to keep the old one or the new one if you wanted. But, just relax a little bit, okay? Just relax a little bit. Take a few deep breaths. Have a little bit more wine. The world's not going to end because Google Plus looks different. You can if you sit down and you take a deep breath, you're going to learn how to use it really quickly because it's really not all that different than it was before. Rant over. Ish.
Okay. Ish.
You can't hear it, but John Lennon's singing "Give Peace a Chance." That's what he's singing right here. Give peace a chance. Come on, all we are saying, give peace a chance. Sorry.
Yeah. Just between all that and the elections and Paris and all that stuff, what I was saying to you before the show, I just completely left Facebook this week, deleted all my apps, all my shortcuts, all my notifications. I just can't stand the constant, and people are like bitching at the drop of the hat that other people are bitching at the drop of the hat. Like I've just been spent the last 45 seconds bitching that people are always bitching.
Well, something's got to be said before people realize it, right?
But you're saying it, so of course, we're on the right side of the argument.
I'm trying to stop the madness. Stop the madness.
Sometimes the only way to do it is to join.
Let's open this up to the community that's watching right now. We've got quite a few viewers. If anybody who's watching right now has anything they'd like to say about pretty much the state of Google+, the state of the world, how all of this made you feel lately, it's something I think that we can talk about a little bit. Now, keep in mind, this is not a political show. We've said that from day one. We're not politicians. We're just three photographers who like talking on some hangout thing. So if you don't like what we have to say, Gabriel, you always said this best.
If you disagree with us, you're right. If you agree with us, you're right.
Or something. Yeah, exactly. When will Google Plus change? My computer froze and I missed the beginning. So it's pretty much happening already, Bonnie. You have a choice when you sign into Google Plus to go into the new side of Google Plus, or you can stick to the old style. I just noticed it for the first time today, even though I've heard about it for a few days, and I checked it out, and I got panicked because there was no communities, or there was no Hangouts.
Right. Communities are still there, yeah.
Gabriel educated me, and it's very good. So if you go to hangouts.google.com after you've updated, you can do it now even if you want to, you see a window that looks like this. Well, yours might not say hi, Brian. It is, isn't it? And you can see Gabriel calls me Buttercup, which is always nice. And all my chat stuff is here. And then right over here, you could go to Hangouts on Air. And there it is, just like it was before. Mm-hmm. So it's still there. You can still access it. It's just done in a different way.
And it's, I mean, gone are the days where, your phone that hung on the wall was your phone for 15 years. Gone are the days that, there was stability in the things that you used, and you bought a 57 Chevy and you sold it 30 years later. The whole thing, and the problem that we run into, too, is that it's been a year since Google changed Google+, right? And if you don't update and feel the fury of the user base, then people say, oh, do you use Google+? No, it's so stagnant and stale, they haven't updated the look in what seems like forever. So you're kind of screwed either way. You either update or you and feel the wrath, or you don't update and people say that you need to update.
Or just like what Heather says,
you're screwed if you
Starbucks. You're absolutely right, Phil. Heather says, just like the Starbucks Christmas cups, people lost their minds. They really did. I didn't even know what was going on. First of all, I don't go to Starbucks. I'm not a highfalutin lawyer. I can't afford Starbucks. Starbucks. I know some of it.
Anyway, I like minimalist design, but apparently it wasn't good enough for people.
Okay, you know where I'd complain? If the cup had holes in the bottom. That would be a fail.
So if it was like a Timmy's cup, and when you tried to drink out of it, the lid just never went on right, and it just went everywhere.
Yeah,
every Timmy's cup I've ever gotten.
Every time.
But because they changed the color.
The main guy that started to complain about this was this ex-pastor in the United States, and his solution was go to Starbucks, order a drink, and tell them that your name is Merry Christmas. So in order to boycott this company, his solution to all of his followers was to go and buy stuff from this company. Starbucks is like,
marketing
we're
win.
Gonna put pictures of the devil on it next year, man.
That's what all this is, right? Like, I think companies maybe almost hope for someone to get offended, because when someone gets offended, what do? They don't sit there quietly and say, oh, this really bothers me. They go online and they yell and they jump up and down, and it gets put into news, and all of a sudden the company has tons of free advertising.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
right?
that old adage, and it's even more so now, because it's not just that you're going to get word of mouth publicity. It's that you're getting, I would say, almost like national publicity. It's ridiculous.
That being said, from this day forward, Daytripper Photo will, from now on... No, I'm just kidding.
You're not responsible for
Direct
comments.
Oh crap! What's he about to say?
I kind of dig it. I have no problem with what you say. In fact, that show that I wasn't on, I laughed so hard.
Like,
God, I
me,
can't
not
even-
with me, right? But...
No, totally with you. And just the whole your mama. Oh my God, I just killed myself. Anyway, I know it was my fault originally, but it was fun. Anyway, so I like Jennifer's comment. She says, Heather's comment on the Starbucks cup. The color red offends me. Yes.
Yeah, it should have been
Me
green.
too.
Green's
It should have been
Christmas
purple.
Well, I think
I'm
they
sorry.
should change it.
Rainbow. You gotta go rainbow, man.
Rainbow. There you go. That would be
Anything rainbow is safe.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm offended they don't have the snowman and the snowflakes and the Santa Claus and all the stuff from the Bible.
And Krampus.
And the flying spaghetti monster.
Flying spaghetti monster, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jen did say Haley says hi. Hello. Just want to say hello to you first because Haley's awesome. And Jen says, I've actually only heard of people complaining about others not liking the red cups. I've never actually seen anyone complain about the cups themselves. That's funny because it's true. I've not. It's just people complaining about people complaining so far. So
I saw one person walk in. I was in Starbucks last week, and in the belly of the devil, drinking the demon cup. And some girl went in and said her name was Merry Christmas, and the person behind the counter is like, really? Really, you've fallen victim to this. You think that you are proving a point, that you're, making this huge big stance by telling me, fine, your name's Merry Christmas. All right, that's fine.
The important
I am unimpressed.
in like a super unique way, like they spell everyone's name. Was it like Marie, like Krismaz?
Yeah.
Like that's
Why do you even ask for my name? And so, what's your name? Gabriel. All right, Marbury Bell.
yeah.
Your coffee is ready. They never get
it's
it right anyways.
Joe LeDuc's watching. He makes the comment, Merry Xmas.
Yeah.
How many of you have done that? When you write Merry Christmas, do you write Merry Xmas ever?
I do.
No.
I don't because it's
happy
not.
Holidays. I sometimes I don't write happy.
Okay.
Or
the
maybe not.
Origins of
No.
that word, X is actually. I mean, if you actually look up the origins of the word, you are still saying Merry Christmas because.
Cross.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's actually from a Latin short form and blah 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 blah. It's just the uneducated who didn't actually do a Google search, which you can do now with the convenience of your own voice, right?
Okay,
Decided to get
it's not
offended.
working. Okay, Google, it's not. It doesn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about.
They
Just do
decided
this
to
and be
get
like-
offended before they got educated, and said, "Oh, they're trying to take the Christ out of Christmas." No, it's still. Well, first of all, I'm not going into that. I'm going to refrain from talking about how much Christ has to do with Christmas. But saying Merry Xmas, you're still having Christ in Christmas.
Yes. And
So-
it's more of a holiday to meaninglessly buy things than any actual meaning behind it now, which is actually kind of sad.
You're absolutely correct about that, Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love Wikipedia.
Always Wikipedia,
I
where
told you. I
everyone
told
can
you.
edit, but somehow is more accurate than most other sources.
So here, check this out.
Yeah.
Global, editing,
Common abbreviation for the word da-da-da, sometimes pronounced because I can't speak Greek, I won't read that. But Xmas is a variant such as Xmas, and originated from handwriting abbreviations da-da-da-da-da. Xmas is part of the Latin-derived Old English word for mass, while the X comes from the Greek letter chi, which is the first letter in the Greek word which comes into English as Christ. Mazel tov.
So
See,
by
I'm even
saying
throwing a little
Xmas,
Jewish.
you're still saying Merry Christmas. It's just a more efficient way of doing it. But like I said, people decided to get offended before they got educated, and now there's they've got bumper stickers saying "Keep Christ in Christmas."
What
I
you
think
got
we
here?
should keep Krampus in Christmas.
What the heck is Krampus?
And pull in
Krampus is the
Festivus.
Austrian Christmas monster.
Oh, it's like a
Yeah.
Yeti.
It's special, but I like
That's
it.
cool. Hey, anything that has a Yeti as their mascot thing, I'm down.
Hey, we should have like
It's the friendliest
zombies.
thing.
Okay, let's get back to reality here. One of the things that we were going to talk
Like the
about.
ranch show.
It is. It's a great show. I'm enjoying it so far. And so are our viewers, I promise you.
If we start talking about photography, we will be squirreling about photography.
Okay, Gabriel, you and I had a bit of a debate in our notes, and I thought was important to kind of touch on for a minute. One of the things that we've talked about is, well, first of all, I kind of have a slight motto. Originally, my motto was "Life Works." If you look at my high school yearbook, life motto, "Life Works." Meaning, if you work hard, life works for you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to work to get. So everything that I've done in my life, you work hard for it. You work, 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 and things have worked out for me. So that's my motto, "Life Works." However, recently, my motto has become "Humans suck." And I will repeat this motto to anybody who listens, because bottom line is humans suck. Now, individual people...
Are we getting into that?
Yeah, like just a little bit. Individual people I love,
Okay.
right? You guys know that. I'm a personable guy. I love working at Henry's. I love talking to my customers. Everybody that comes in, love, love, love. I absolutely love it. Daytripper Photo, talk to me. You guys all know this. I love, love people. The human race is a scary, scary thing. Mm-hmm. And when people go through life ignorant, not educated, thinking that the way it's been for decades is the way it has to be, it's a very dangerous thing. So my thought is now it's worse than it was. Because
says the person who watches Duck Dynasty every week.
It's off the air.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I haven't watched it in forever. I watch wrestling instead. It's much better.
Completely real wrestling.
WWE Network, baby. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, bottom line is I've lost faith in humanity, and this recent thing in France has really it hit a nerve. It really hit a nerve with me, and there were a few days where I was not happy. People talked to me at work. You could see it. It just, and I couldn't explain it. You know, it's just like, how could this happen? How can these things happen? And then you hear about situations that potentially can happen in Newmarket because of a certain thing that's on Mulock Street, and other things that could possibly happen. And people are crazy and they misinterpret what you're saying, and they go on a tangent, and they just, it's a scary freaking place. So, is it worse than it used to be? That's really what I'm getting at. Is it worse, or is it like Gabriel says, we just have more ways of hearing about it now? So
no, it's not. It's not only that. It's everybody thinks that Earth is going to hell in a handbasket because they don't realize it's our first time experiencing this stuff as adults, where we're at the point where we can register what's going on, right? So I keep hearing dinging. Am I muted? No, I'm good.
I hear you.
So all the world's been going to hell in a handbasket for thousands of years. It's just when we first experienced any of this stuff, some of us are old enough, when we were young there was the Vietnam War, and literally children 18 years old were being drafted to go over and fight in a war. Before that was the Cold War, where children were having drills on what to do for a nuclear explosion. Like, the world has always been going to hell in a handbasket in slightly different ways, and we have slightly different tools that we're using with the advent of technology and stuff. We're just experiencing it differently. There's the old saying, nothing changes but perspective. Everything was going to hell. Like, the World Trade Center has been bombed before 9/11. A lot of the massacres, the tsunamis, all this stuff has all happened before. There's nothing new in the news. This has all happened before. Maybe different places. Airplanes have been blown out of the air. When a Canadian jet got blown out of the air by terrorists before some of us were even born. It's all happened before. It's just this is the first time that we were old enough to register it, and then we feel like everything was so wonderful and sunny and happy in our childhood because we couldn't register it, and now we're seeing it in our adulthood and we think things have gotten worse when they haven't.
So the people vent, the people go on air, they go on the Facebook, social media, they say all their thoughts, they vent and vent and vent, and nothing's done. Which leads me to what Phil had to say, which I think is utterly brilliant, and it's made me think since you said it. Phil, talk about Speaker's Corner for a sec.
Well, first I want to say that it's partly my thought, partly something I've gotten from sources and whatnot. But like Speaker's Corner, some of you may remember, was that thing down that you could press the button, talk into a like TV screen late at night. But before that, it was like a box out in a public place. I believe it started in England, where if you had something you wanted to say, you would stand up on it and say it. And if people agreed with you, then great. If they didn't, then they'd yell back at you or throw something. The problem is, now everyone's on a box, but no one's throwing things. So there's no repercussions to what people have to say. And you hear the odd story that, someone said something bad and then that got back to their employer and now they don't have a job. Or they did something stupid and that got back to their employer and now they don't have a job. But for the most part, it's not the case. People go out there and they post a picture of some famous person with words that they never said on top of it, and they think it's true. But it's not.
The problem with the internet is you can't tell who says what. Signed, Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, yeah. You actually got me onto watching. Had a great thing about that, about like fake internet quotes. And he came up with, I can't remember the website right now, I'm going to try and find it, but a website that you could go to get fake internet quotes. And it was just some words and like a stored picture of a person, and they never said any of it. But to bring back the idea of the world going to kind of hell in a handbasket, there was an economist, and I was trying to find it, searching to find out who it was, but he was talking about how the world, everyone always thinks the world is getting worse. But when you look at everything on a grand scale, it's getting better and better and better.
Absolutely.
And the new generation to come in is getting a world that has never been seen before. And yes, there's issues they're dealing with, and yes, there's bad things that happen, but on the whole, everything, for more or less globally, is getting better. Now, there's pockets of things that are getting worse, but on a whole, everything's getting closer to being better.
That actually reminds me, there was a TED Talk that I was watching the other day where it shows, infant mortality rates, hunger, poverty, domestic abuse, murders, everything is getting less and less and less and less. And I think it was called something like the world is getting better and nobody's been more miserable or something like that. But you're absolutely right. Everything is getting better. But and to your point about Speaker's Corner, just quickly, I think one of the problems is, like I am a person that will throw back. If somebody goes on, and it's happened a few times in the last week, somebody goes up and they start spouting some easily provable BS. They post a picture or something like that, and I'm going to go, well, actually, if you want to look into the actual, facts of this story, this is what happened with this, and then they ban me.
No, I agree with that. I started doing that when people posted. There was a thing floating around about how refugees coming to, we're not going there. Refugees coming to Canada get $20,000 a month or something, and our retired people are only getting $500 a month. But they were confusing the facts, and none of it was correct. So I started trying to go in and post things and be like, no, that's not how this works. Here's the CRA website that outlines how this works. It's not that complicated. They have a website dedicated to saying that this thing is not real.
Right.
But then just got to the point where people they're idiots.
Okay, so just to go to the Q&A for a quick second. Jennifer Newberry, she suggests that the Twin Towers had never been bombed before. There was an attempted truck bomb in 1994, but they caught it before it went off. Not necessarily true. In fact,
it just didn't cause as much damage as they wanted it to.
In 1993, there was a trade center bombing that went off in the underground where there was quite a bit of damage.
But not to the same level.
Right. Not taken down the towers.
Yes.
But it did happen. And then the Oklahoma City bombings, and yes, it's happened ever since I could remember. My aunt lived in Israel. She came back from Israel in 1990 or 91, back in the original war, the original Desert Storm. And she came back because there was a mortar bomb that went off in front of her house. She brought me the mortar shell. I have it in my closet.
The last thing I want to be is insensitive, but what happened in Paris was a tragedy. It was beyond words. You can't explain what happened there. That happens on a daily basis in a lot of countries. You know, I mean, it was terrible because it was terrible, and anytime that happens anywhere, it's terrible. It was extra terrible to us because we're not used to it, right? But a lot of these people that are refugees, that's happening on a daily basis in their communities. And you want to talk about, go to Israel. Every single time they go to the market, they know they may get hit by a stray missile or something like that.
Well,
Okay.
No one puts their kids in the water unless it's safer than the land. Or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know who did the quote. Just to scroll back a little further, this is the thing I was trying to remember. The definitelyrealquotes.com. So you can click on it and get a definitely real real quote.
There's another one. It's a Deepak Chopra quote generator, which is really good too. Two of them. That
Wow.
Albert Einstein. Yeah,
Okay.
and, you see all this stuff.
Hang on a sec, guys.
Okay.
Time out. Bonnie asked a very good question.
Okay, but can I say one that is true?
Yes.
Children today have no respect for their elders. Socrates. Children have never had respect for their elders. It's not a new thing.
That's because humans suck. But anyway.
Go ahead, sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Bonnie says, wondering if there's going to be more photography stuff on the agenda or if this is just a squirrel state of the world episode, which is okay. Just wondering. It is kind of a squirrel state of the world episode. But at the same time, we do have some more photography stuff to talk about. So
can we talk about the session we did last weekend?
Yes, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some questions, like Jennifer Newberry's question about what lens. So she posted on the Daytripper community. She says, Brian Weiss, what should my next lens be? The Sigma 24-35 f2 Art, the 35 f1.4 Art. They're both DG lenses, which means that they're full frame compatible and high-speed motor, hypersonic motor. So for $100 more, she can get a bit wider focal length, but then she loses 0.6 aperture. Don't really shoot much below f2 anyway. Decisions. So here's my thought on this. First of all, they're both great lenses. The 24-35 gives you a zoom, so you can shoot a very wide image, where the 35 is more of a group portrait lens, I guess you can say, environmental portrait kind of thing. And at 1.4 aperture, you get extremely shallow depth of field. But with most lenses, you don't necessarily want to shoot wide open anyway, right?
And you're dealing with wide-angle lenses, so like a 1.4 to 1.2 really aren't going to look that different, if at all.
Unless you get in close to something.
If you get in super close, yes, but
then
you
do a
get
Peter
really
McKinnon portrait, right?
Yeah. And then you're going to be doing bending. I want to know what she's using these for first, because that might have a little bit of an impact on which one would work better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both going to be awesome. The Sigma Art lenses are outstanding.
I've heard nothing but good things about them, yeah.
Now, here's the thing that you should also think about, Jen. They are heavy. These are big, bulky lenses, all of them. We had the 24-35 on the last day trip. It is a beefcake. The 35 f1.4 isn't something that I would wear on my camera on my cotton carrier holster because my pants would fall down. It is a beefy, heavy piece of glass. Now, if you're cool with that, they're both very good. They're both very sharp. But ultimately, it comes down to what perspective you're trying to achieve, which is why, do you need 24 mil, or would the 35 work just fine? So it's hard to answer the question. They're both spectacular. They're both very sharp. The aperture, like Phil says, full frame.
Okay. So they're going to be true actual millimeters.
Right.
Okay.
They're gorgeous lenses. My recommendation is try them. Come by the store, put them on your camera, take some pictures, bring those pictures home, review them on your computer, check for sharpness, check for bokeh, check for focusing speed, all of these things. That would be my recommendation. And that offer is wide open to you if you want to come by. We don't have the 20-35 in store yet, but we do have the 35 1.4 Art. You can grab that, check it out, use it. Obviously, you can't take it out of the store, take it home, but unless you buy it, which you're welcome to do as well.
I personally might sit on the fence of the 24-35. Just having that little bit of just extra wideness, or a little bit of not as wide. I think it'd be really nice, because there's been times where I've been shooting, it's like my 50 mil on, I'm shooting with it, and I'm like, if I got just an extra 2 degrees, I'd be a super happy person.
Yeah.
So there are situations that can be
F2
really
is still
useful.
pretty fast.
And think about it like two
There's-
primes. You have a 24 f2 and you have a 35 f2,
Yeah.
right? Like if
Well,
I
you
went
really
to a
have
wrestling,
9
Yeah.
primes.
or you can break it up if you want to,
Won't be.
but I went to
It's
a
like
wrestling
Avatar.
match and I wanted to take some shots, so I had all the Sigma lenses at home at the time. So I brought the 24 f1.4, I brought the 35 f1.4, I brought the 50 f1.4, all art lenses. They were all freaking massive, and I had to change them all the time because I'm, doing different things.
Yeah.
1 minute they're coming out right here, next minute they're in the state in the ring over there. 1 minute they're in the crowd, and I'm changing my lenses, putting on the longer one, putting on the wider one, and it was really difficult. So to have a bit of a zoom could be a huge lifesaver.
Yeah, I would say, especially if you're running and gunning, if you're doing like events and stuff like that, you think the 7200, which is the staple wedding lens, is a 2.8. So this is faster than that. 24-35 gives you some nice play, and there's not much you can do with an with a 1.4 that you can't do with an f2.
And the thing is, you're probably not going to shoot fully wide open anyway, right? You're not going to do it just because you don't want to have to deal with the super soft edges, possibly. Now, a good website I use, now it's just a little piece of information for everyone, I don't know if you guys use it, but a website I like to use whenever I'm trying to compare lenses is a site called slrgear.com. Now, the nice part about it, and I'm going to show the desktop, and I'm going to shrink this so we don't get a recursion. A nice part, can you all see this still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. A nice part about this is you can search whatever lens you want, and then you can break that lens down. Now, as long as it says tested, any of the lenses have to say tested, but you can break the lens down, and you can see on like a mathematical kind of style, you can see chromatic aberration charts, vignetting, distortion. What I look for in a lot of the lenses is the sharpness chart. And so what you can do is you take the lens, and you have a millimeter adjustment on the bottom, and you have an aperture adjustment on the top. And so what you do is you can go through these kind of images that they would have taken and mapped, and you can see, how soft is the actual lens? How soft is it at, let's say 30 millimeters at f5.6? Now, to be fair, both these lenses, the 24-35 and the 35 mil, are both super sharp lenses. They don't get out of the, the blue spectrum. So it's super sharp. Whereas if you compare a lens, Brian, what's a terrible lens? Just an absolute terrible lens.
18 to 55 non-IS Canon kit lens. I don't know.
Yes, that would be pretty bad. In the scale of things, it can be a great lens, but that's the SMT IS.
Anything Sony? No, I'm just
joking. Well, Sony's got some great stuff.
No. Okay, pull up the 75 to 300.
There we go. Well, this is the original.
Okay, there we go.
I think this will work for what you're trying to do. So here's a not good lens. So here we have our scale, all through our 18 to 55. So it looks like 27 mils, about the softest it's going to be. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all.
There you go. See, kit lenses rock.
It actually is a lot sharper than I thought it would be. Sorry, you said the 75 mil?
75 to 300. Sony.
75 to 300. Oh, is this the weird?
This is the one that I got when I first had my Sony Alpha, and there was horrible chromatic aberration. Or 7300 maybe, yeah.
This one, I think.
It's
no,
not the
this one's
SSL.
tested. This is
that one.
That's AL. Let's take a look. Now, there's some like Tokinas and stuff that are soft. Yeah, okay, I can see this one probably not being too good. So yeah, if you shoot this at like technically f22, but when you're zoomed all the way in, it's 32 or up to 40, you are in green, and any lens that goes to green is not good.
Yikes.
You're gonna see that softness. When we go to something like this, where you see blue versus purple, your eye is not gonna see that difference. Maybe the top right corner of your picture, maybe it'll be soft. maybe you'll see that. But what's going to be in the top right corner of your picture to begin with? So both these lenses are super sharp. I like the zoom. I think a zoom could be useful. You know, you could shoot at 24 and get some great wide-angle stuff. You could stick it out at 35 and still do that kind of environmental portrait. So, yeah, you got some good options.
No, that's absolutely valid. Jen says the Tamron 28 to 75 is terrible. Ooh, that's terrible. Ooh.
Sorry, I'm trying to shut down this recursion.
And her 18-135 kit lens is awesome. So it's true. A lot of kit lenses are
okay. There it is.
Are actually not bad. And she says, Phil, that's an awesome website. It is. Thank you so much for sharing that, bud.
I've used this site for a while. Now, keep in mind that some of the tests will not be on the camera you are going to be using it on. What they try and do is they try and use a similar Nikon and a similar Sony and a similar Canon to do all of their testing. So you might see that they tested on like a bit of an older camera, or they test on a camera you don't have. The sharpness is going to be the same. It's light traveling through a lens. That the camera doesn't change that. The lens does. So it might say a different camera was used to test. It's still going to work out the same.
Cool. All right.
So
well, there's that
other lens that wasn't great. I want to look it up.
The 2875 Tamron. And on another note, Christine says that she's so disappointed she missed the motherhood theme this week. She would have had 25 entries. Well, you know, that would have taken up the entire show. It would have prevented us from squirreling. That would have, saved us talking about all this hate in the world. It's all your fault, Christine.
Wow, this whole travesty of a show is not just yours, but everybody that didn't submit a photo, it's your fault.
Yeah, right.
So make sure you want to submit a picture.
What's
Take one in for next week. We can always take a look at it.
Sure. Absolutely.
Sorry, is it the 28? The 2.8 is soft?
Answered questions. 28 f2.8, yes.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't look terribly bad on this, but it does go. It is a lot softer than what we were just looking at.
There you go. Still, awesome website. Okay, so let's get back to the notes here for a quick sec. Tammy Wood, she was having trouble posting from her computer. Anyone else having trouble posting, attempting to post from her cell phone, which apparently worked, but she can't post from her computer. Do you know any?
It's a rollout. I haven't had any problems, but I've heard a couple of people having problems. They're rolling out the new look and everything like that. And while that's going on, it's like changing it. It's like It's literally almost literally like changing a tire on a car while driving down the road.
There's videos of that.
and one Darwin Award.
Oh dear.
But but it's like literally you're changing the interface of something that millions of people are using. So yeah, there's bound to be a hiccup or two. That's why the initial release is feature light. There's some features that they're not including in the beginning. So yeah, just try it on the phone or just wait a little bit and try it later. It should work no problem.
Yeah.
Jen didn't say that the lens was soft. She said it sucked.
Okay. And that's the thing.
Like, you could focus is awful.
Sorry, I was jumping in there. But yeah, you could have a super sharp lens. It could be a beautiful lens, but if the autofocus is bad, it's terrible. Like the Canon 24-70, the original 24-70, super sharp lens. If you could get it to focus on your subject.
Well, speaking of beautiful people, let's have a quick look at what we just did this past week.
Aha!
I missed
you like that segue? We didn't even talk
segue.
about beautiful people. I just totally just went here. I just had to. But yeah, this is our amazing model. Her name was Adriana Calvo. If anybody wants to hire her, she's spectacular. Did a great job for us, and she even brought her friend Vic, who was another very good-looking person. But this is one of your photos, Gabriel.
Yeah,
Beautiful
I was
stuff.
working at the station with basically just her all night, and then finally when they were about ready to leave, I'm like, hold on, I didn't get any pictures of him. So I threw them both up in front of the board and snapped some pictures of them right before they left.
Yeah, I didn't get any photos the entire session, but there's been some amazing photos that people have submitted. There she is there. And this is with your ring light, I assume?
Ring lights are cool.
Yeah, it was, God, so this session was, Not so much portrait photography, and I had a few people ask. We are having a portrait photography workshop coming up. We're super excited and stoked to do it. We're just trying to work out between us how we're going to do it. But this was, there's a lot of different lighting and a lot of different types of portrait photography. You can use a softbox, you can use a speed light, you can use a ring light, you can use constant light. And if you were to try out all different types of lighting, it can cost you thousands of dollars. So we had all those set up, and you could go up to the models and shoot with a softbox or shoot with a ring light or shoot with constant light. And we showed you the strengths and weaknesses of each type of light, the kind of equipment that you're going to need to use it. And people had a real blast. Shooting that, and it didn't hurt that both the models were stunningly gorgeous, and it's really hard to take a bad picture of them. I'm like, look, if I move this constant light all the way back here and take a picture, she still looks beautiful. What's going on here? It's supposed to be a bad example.
Yeah, here's some from Sheila Burgess. This was Sheila's first time on one of our sessions, and I'm getting the vibe she had a good time. This is Vic, our male model that Adriana brought with her. Like you say, I mean, just really good-looking people really help make the photo shoot. But it's interesting, what we were trying to do is we were trying to simulate one kind of light from another. So if you look at this is, I believe, with the softbox.
Yeah.
And it's a much softer light. And when you go over to the constant lighting where you were, you could tell there's a lot more brightness on certain parts. This is an interesting photo that she took here with the little catch lights around the eyelid, around the eyelashes, eh? There's a little triangle under her eye here. Almost cool. Distracting, but it's interesting.
I think it gives a bit of life to the eye.
Got some great emotion from them. Nice composition.
Both of them, like some of my favorite pictures that I took of them when they weren't even posing. Like both of them are just so naturally good looking that if you caught them off guard, when they were just looking at something or just interacting with somebody and took their picture there, it was like they were posing. There's some people that have like RBF, resting bitch face. When they're not doing anything, they just look angry. And there's other people that have like RMF, resting model face. When they're not doing anything, they look like they're posing for GQ or something. And both of these.
So what would you call this face?
That would be RGF, resting geek face. I look shocked, like somebody just gave me a wedgie.
Yeah, I kind of have the same face on me. I'm more like I've got to go have a poop in mine. There you go. These are Robert's photos that he took of us. That's when I was giving my presentation. I have to poop. That's mine. Anyway, so let's go back to the Q&A here for a quick sec. Jen says that Haley is going to be upset now. She's going to be very sad because she wanted to make this session. It's too bad she didn't.
We will be doing another one.
There you go. So. We will be doing another one. And Mark says, greetings from Ottawa. I love when Mark contacts us. And speaking of contacting from far places, we have some announcements for upcoming shows, which I'm going to make in just a minute. Does anyone have any model friends contacts that have lots of freckles? Been looking for a model with freckles for a personal project. This is from Bonnie. So if anybody has any model contacts, friends of people who have freckles, maybe you can contact Bonnie Penny in the Daytripper Photo community. That might help.
Well, that model that we had there had freckles.
Adriana? Yeah, I don't see too much in the way of freckles on her. Jen says Brian should have jumped out of a closet in a zombie costume, and then someone could have taken a picture and see they're still good looking when they're scared. Yes, I might do that next time. That's a lot of makeup to put on just for one photo, though. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so speaking of what we have coming up, there's a really great guy in our community. He's been messaged our community many times. He's been a part of our shows, but he's never been on our show as a guest, and he's just made a huge life change. Speaking of life changes, Glenn Hubbers, one of our regular community members, just did some really cool stuff. He quit his job. He is now self-employed, basically unemployed. He and his wife bought an RV, and they've been planning for this for about a year now, and they are cruising around the world, or around America, I guess you can say. Canada, the Americas, North and South America. Not South America. you know what I'm saying. The Great White North and down below us. So they're going to be cruising all over the place, and he's going to come on our show every once in a while and be a guest. We're going to do a traveling photographer correspondent for the Daytripper Photo Show from here forward. And anywhere he goes, he's going to pop into the show every once in a while and give us an update about the traveling photographer. He picked up a Tamron 150 to 600 just before he left. Today was the day he and his wife left. She even bought a new guitar for the trip, which is super cool. I mean, imagine traveling all over the place, going down to Arizona, just kicking it, pull out your guitar, have a fire, and play some music and take some pictures, and I can't wait to see what he's got going on. So the first time he's actually going to be on our show is December 9th, so make sure you check out that show. On December 9th, we're going to make it dedicated to Glenn. We're going to have him on the show as our guest. We're going to call it Traveling Photographer, and he's going to give us some of the stories that he's come across so far on his travels, which should be a lot of fun. Yeah, can't wait for that. November 25th, guys, our show is going to be Christmas Gifties.
Okay.
This is a photography show, so we're going to talk about photography gifties, right?
Sounds good.
Give you some time that you could think about what we're talking about, maybe research some things that we talk about. We'll give you some products, we'll give you some prices, we'll give you some things that you might not have thought about, and hopefully that'll be a fun show. So that'll be November 25th.
Okay.
And on December 23rd, our show will be Shooting the Holidays. And I don't mean the way people think I mean with a camera. So we're going to give you some ideas that you could use when you and your family get together. I know, put it away. Take it easy, buddy.
Yeah, your shooting the holidays and my shooting the holidays are very different.
But we're going to give... so that should be a fun show. That'll be December 23rd, Shooting the Holidays. Some great tips and techniques for you getting together with your families. Back to Q&A. Jennifer says, Bonnie, modelmayhem.com. That's how we got the model for our wedding photography session.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can actually search by Freckles, I think, to find people.
Good to know.
Jen says, December 9th is your birthday. Cool. Happy early birthday to you. We'll say it again on the show. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes because, you're awesome. And, so maybe you can call in and say hi to Glenn on your birthday. That'd be very cool. And Bonnie says, thanks, Jennifer, for the link. She will check it out. I guess that would be modelmayhem.com. Very cool. Okay, so we do have a new photo challenge for everybody for this week. Might as well get to that right now. Motherhood went off so great.
I think our photo challenge is...
I do want to see some pictures for it. And
because Phil said so, you better do it. What were you saying, Gabe?
I'd say our photo challenge for this week should be just take a picture.
Just any old picture. And because she just came in, here comes Dixie. There you go, Jen. Dixie's in the house, and she's going to assume a position. I don't know what this will turn into. December 23rd.
Horribly wrong.
This could go horribly wrong. She's a vicious little critter. But she's so cute. I just love this little girl. Okay, so yay for December 3rd, Christine. Good. I'm glad you'll be watching then. Should be a lot of fun. All right. Anything else to add to the show tonight, guys? Phil? Okay. Actually, at one point, Jen said she just noticed your sign's missing. What's going on, man? You don't have a new sign yet.
No exciting news yet. I'll try and have some put together for next week.
All right.
Working on a couple things.
Very good. And, okay, don't look at the Twinkle Tush. There we go. Just keep on moving.
Dear.
Yeah, Twinkle Tush.
They have little covers for that, right? You hang it off your cat's tail and they look like
Twinkle
flowers.
Tush.
Okay.
It's got a catchy little song, too, and it made me... I don't want to think about it right now because I'll never think of it. Oh, this foot is doing weird things.
I think we should all pitch in and get him a sign that says Merry Xmas with the Starbucks cup on it. And just to get publicity for Daytripper Photo.
It would probably work too. Dixie, come on.
I'll have a picture of your cat and a picture of my cat and
that is not good. Oh, she's such a good girl. All right. One last thing that I want to quickly mention. This Sunday, I've got a really cool thing happening with these two guys helping me out, which I can't wait for. Shooting a movie.
Got worried.
Got my first movie.
I forgot.
Yeah. Weird. I don't even know where your mind goes, Phil. But this Sunday should be a lot of fun. We're shooting the movie. I'm calling it 30, and we've got some really great ideas for this movie. It's a horror movie with no sex, no violence, no gore, no blood, no horror, really, which is kind of weird.
And apparently no me.
It should be a lot of fun. It's all about suspense. It's all about what's going on. It's going to be a short film by the time I'm done, not a full-length feature, obviously, because I've never made a movie before, so I'd be stupid to try and do that. But thank you, Sony, so much for coming to bat for me. Isabel, my Sony rep, I reached out to her a little while ago, and I said, hey, Isabel, would you possibly lend us some stuff for this movie? And she's like, what do you need? So I said, well, we have 6 actors, so I need 6 action cams. So, of course, first thing I get is a selfie stick. Weird. And lots of holders, chest things and hat things and stuff like that. But then, let's dig deeper. Action Cam 1. Action Cam 2. Action Cam 3. And these are the Sony action cams. These are the good ones, the ones that have the built-in stabilization and good low-light shooting mode, and it's just awesome, so cool. There's number 4, which is pretty cool. Oh, and 2 of them have this fancy feature. What? 4K?
Oh,
hello.
4K. Nice.
Yeah.
YouTube
I'm not shooting
that
4K
now.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, yeah.
There's 5 action cams and 6 action cams. Wait a second, I only need 6. Why would I have 7? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, and on top of that, of course, we need A-roll, because these are going to be B-roll, and cell phones are going to be B-roll. So they supplied me with a lovely A7S, which
nice.
my webcam apparently doesn't know how to focus. There we go. And a great 2470 f4. And, of course, I have the cheaper version of that camera right here, which is the A7R. It's not cheaper. It's actually just as awesome with the 1635 f4. And even better than that, they supplied me with this pretty sweet 28mm f2 with the 0.75 wide-angle adapter, so it can become a 21mm f2, which is going to be a lot of fun for some specialty shots. So thank you, Sony, so much for hooking up a brother and being so cool, and I can't wait to see what we do with this stuff. I hope the movie turns out as well as I expect it to, and if not, it's not because Sony helped out.
I think it was pretty cool.
Well, time will tell, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for the show tonight, guys. Anything left to add, Gabriel?
Change is your friend. Don't fear change. I hate Glenn Hubbers. And let's see. Yeah, that should be about it.
Yeah, you know, it is pretty stabby with how awesome his life is going to be now.
Well, and then that's kind of been, there was a point in my life where I was saying to Tricia, I'm like, let's just sell everything. Because there is a famous photographer, another famous photographer that does that. He lives in an RV with his wife and his child, and they travel around the United States giving workshops everywhere that they go and taking amazing headshot photography. And Ben, what's his last name?
Wilmore?
Wilmore, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, there you go. And, I'm like, that's such an awesome, I'd love to do that so much. And
he's also a super cool guy, and I want to
really
quickly touch on that. Ben Wilmore is freaking awesome. He's traveling around the world in an RV. He had a whole RV just customized for himself lately. He gave a presentation in Toronto. Us and a bunch of the people from the Newmarket Camera Club went. We didn't understand a word that he said after we left. We were like, what? He was talking about masking and all this crazy stuff. I was so confused. So on the train ride home, I suggested, why don't I Facebook Ben Wilmore and see if he'd want to do a hangout with us. So sure enough, we did a how-to hangout afterward. Ben sat in with us, spent about 2 hours with us going over all the things that he covered in his paid Kelby live training class that we went to. And I mean, come on, how awesome is that?
Cool.
Just
yeah,
that's really cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Bonnie, no, you did not miss the photo challenge. I squirreled. I did not get to it yet. So let's get to this. And before we do that, we just have to make sure we have everything prepared. Cool. Okay, so the photo challenge for this week is closure. So closure could mean something to everybody. And it could be closure on a bad relationship. It could mean closure on a lost loved one. It could be closure on a big essay that you were writing. It could be closure of a door. I mean, open up your ideas. Have a good time. I'd love to see some really creative things that you guys come up with. And if not, then I guess we're going to rant and talk about all kinds of other stuff. Again.
If if nobody submits photos next week, we will go into Brian's feelings on dogs, our psychological outlook on ISIS, and
And for the fun of it, we'll get into quantum physics.
Yeah, quantum physics, and our thoughts
just for the
on
fun
the
of
Tim
it.
Hortons Holiday Cup.
Okay, cool.
Too many little hockey
Outraged.
players.
And when is it too
And
soon to
lips.
put up Christmas? We got to talk about that.
Oh, hold on. You want to know too soon for stuff? Give me a second here. Let me find a picture on my phone, and I'm going to do the whole hold it up in front of the camera thing, because that's my living room.
Oh boy,
That's nothing new.
I
You should see
hope
my living
that's
room.
Not a real tree.
No, it's not a real tree.
Okay. You're gonna have not a lot of needles.
Guys, you know I'm married to a Christmas elf. I'm not impressed. My tree was up a day after Halloween, okay? So
I think the real question is, when is it too early to decorate for Halloween? Because when people are coming around caroling and there's a severed body on the front lawn, that's
Well, you're
the
just getting
Halloween
prepared for
spirit.
next year early.
Exactly.
that's awesome. Oh, my next door neighbor just had her mother drop off 75 inflatable Christmas lawn ornaments.
Sorry, it sounded like you said 75.
A 7 with a 5 after it.
It's going to sound like an aircraft carrier next to your house. Like, you know the vertical takeoff and landing airplanes that can just,
yes.
take off like that?
Yes.
Just
Yes,
blah.
I know. I know.
It's going to
They have a
change the
penguin.
wind currents in your area.
There's a penguin raising up out of a hat. I mean, anyway, it'll be interesting. We are that kind where we have the classic white twinkle lights. Everything is very clean. Everything is very red and gold and green and Christmassy. And
Yeah.
now we have Dr. Seuss popping out of a hat. So whatever, it's not like we have a huge front lawn or anything. She asked if she could use our lawn for some of them, and I happily said no.
Good answer.
Okay, guys, that's it for us tonight. Thank you all for watching. It's been a fun show. We've talked about a lot of cool stuff.
I love the fact that we had no topic and we still went 15 minutes over time.
I know. Well, we love to talk. We are good at it. If anybody has anything you'd like to add, any questions for us, any comments for us, okay, Jen, she's apparently excited to hear our quantum physics conversation, so she won't be submitting
good.
for.
I think we'll start with the what happens if you poke a hole in a one-sided object, and we'll go into the theory on stable wormholes, black holes, event horizons, and
dark matter.
The Schwarzschild principle.
Yeah,
We're going to get
and
into
how
black
angels
holes.
can dance on the head of a pin.
And then
Which
I'll talk
I
about
think
what
is
I'm an
all
expert
they are.
on, and that's lemon wedges flavoring my water. So it should be a fun show, and we'll see y'all then. Meanwhile, next week we're talking about the Christmas gifties, so it should be fun. We'll see y'all then.
And Christine, I would like to see you post some pictures, because you mentioned you had 24, so let's see what we're doing.
We'll do it.
Even just to your page, and we can take a look.
Perfect. So, Gabriel, where can folks find you? Because I know you and Sheldon are doing bar mitzvahs and all kinds of stuff these days.
After this show, I don't think I'm going to promote anything.
No, if that would have happened, that would have happened on the show way back.
Oh, wow. That's coming out. Well, if you would like to hire me to shoot any of your events or corporate events or weddings or anything like that, and have me show up and not share any of my political views with you or any of your guests,
You are a professional. See, that's the difference. You're a professional. So you can have your opinions and your views and still make a freaking awesome wedding photographer.
So yeah, my email is gabriel@bousquetphotography.ca. Also, if you are looking for newborn photography, Trish at Trish at bousquetphotography.ca. My wife has just branched into, no, I shouldn't say just, she's recently branched into newborn photography, and she has found her calling. I mean, she had a customer pick up pictures tonight, and they were just absolutely blown away by the quality of her work. She's incredible at it. She loves it, and she would like to make it her full-time gig. So if you know of anybody having a baby, usually the best time to shoot is from 3 days to under 2 weeks, and stuff. But if they're older than that, she can shoot that as well. If you know anybody that's looking for pictures, please let me know, and I'll let her know.
Cool.
Okay, excellent. And Phil, how about yourself, man?
Well, you can get in touch with me at, especially if you have anything, any comments, any disagreements with what I had to say tonight. You can get in touch with me at Brian@Daytripper Photo. As of right now, I don't have an email, but I will be having a new one for you guys next week.
Awesome, very cool.
I'm putting a timeline on me actually getting stuff done. But you can always shoot me a text, give me a call, send me a message on Google Plus, and
I've got lots of
find me on Facebook. There's 2 of me on Facebook, so find the right one.
There's 2 of you everywhere. What's up with that? And by the way, your brother's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah?
I met your brother a couple weeks ago, and you and your brother are like polar opposites, and it's both very cool.
Very much so. What? He was in the store? Oh, yeah, because he was looking for a Pelican case.
Yeah, he came in the store. It was hilarious, because as he was pulling in, somebody was pulling out and almost hit his car, so he came in with quite a boisterous...
I don't want to point fingers at whose fault that probably was, but I'm going to say it probably wasn't the other driver.
They were driving a Porsche, so it probably was. Christine, Merry Christmas to you. We will see you before then, though. Don't worry. And yes, I do believe in Christmas, even though I'm ish. And
Happy
Jennifer
holidays.
Gabriel, you know, there's lots of holidays. We'll say Happy Hanukkah. We'll say Merry Christmas. We'll say, you know, Happy Spaghetti Plate, whatever you want to say.
Happy Pastivus.
Happy Pastivus. I don't care.
Yes.
Just be real, be yourself, and have a good life, and don't disrespect the people beside you. That's all I care about, right?
Exactly.
Jennifer says, Gabriel, can people hire you and have you share your political views? Does that cost extra?
Well, let's just say I charge the same even if I get kicked out before the end of the hired event.
Awesome. All right, we're done. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Next week.